So another little side project. This is the table, which is way oversized. So I found somebody else who had one. He measured it up, and I've cut this one to the right width. It's slightly short, but I think that'll be okay for what we need. Anyway, it's only two people, and it was just a piece of 10mm plywood that somebody had put onto the original base, and I thought this might be a way of prettying it up a little bit. I chose orange, of course, because that's the colour of the Rapido. And this is just epoxy. It's about a 3mm thick coat. And I've decided not to let it go over the edges, quite simply because I've got some trim. I've got some brown trim, which is going to go around all around the edges when this is set off. And I think the brown and the orange match the stripes on the side of the van. So this is a little project, quite easy to do. I'm just using some, if you can find it. Yep, this is just Hemway powder pigment, and just mix it up with the epoxy, 2-part epoxy. 50% of what, 100 mils of one goes to 50 mils of the other. So just a two-way mix. And had that sitting around for quite a long time, but it seems to be perfectly okay. So yes, we'll see how that all comes out when it's hardened off. Take a couple of days to really set, and I can take the tape off and clean up the edges. Okay, back soon. Okay, so just coming around to the back, I've just removed some of the debris that's lying around, and you can see that somebody has replaced a lot of these this woodwork. In the past. It looks fairly well done and clean down here. So that's the water heater. It's got a control panel, obviously a very early model because it's only got an on-off button and a little LED on it. So we need to test all of that. It's got a water in and a water out, as you would expect for a hot water tank, and a 12-volt feed, which presumably is for the ignition of the gas. So that all needs to be tested. Taking the opportunity to line the wheel arches in here. There was nothing there previously, it was just bare metal. So that's all been covered now in that insulation. And a little bit down here just to finish off. And then I've got some hinges to sort out because there's a panel that lies across the top here, just needs to be secured properly. For some reason the screws weren't installed, but yeah, that's another piece of the work at the back here, ready to be packed up and sorted out. I've decided that the air vents are going to go into the door that we discussed yesterday. I'm going to have an in and an out, and that door is not going to be an opening door anymore. I'm just going to fix that in place. So yeah, cracking on with a little bit more, bit by bit. Okay, so moving on to the other side. So this is the fresh water tank, and fairly standard. Not sure what size it is. I think it's about 40 or 50 litres, but there's the fuel. There's the water pump, typical shore flow. With a bit of a restriction in that pipe by the looks of it, so I'm going to replace those pipes anyway, and we should be good. So a bit more insulation needed around the wheel arch there, just to give it a bit more protection. And then not much to do in this section, just a good clean up. So we'll crack on. Oh, just out of interest, these are the separate compartments, and these are external blinds. So these are external blinds, and they've got press studs on the outside of the vehicle for protection. Not most convenient things, but they're definitely nice and thick, so they could be quite good in the winter, certainly for the front windows anyway. But yeah, all very good. Right, gonna get this cleaned up and we'll sort the rest out. Okay, just installing the covers now that will isolate the fuel tank for the diesel heater, and so that's just a piece of 5mm ply. Going to stain it to try and match as close as possible. The grain's going the wrong way, but that's the only piece I've got of that size. And I'll just stain it anyway so that it'll match the colour-ish. And I've got one piece to do at the top here just to fill in. And the pipe will come out here. So this will have the fuel pipe, but I'm also going to put it inside a piece of the water pipe as well, so that will then give it double protection from any leaks coming into the compartment. So yeah, that's all ready. The fuel pump bracket has arrived. So one of the problems with the diesel heaters is that it has well, the Americans call them clicky clacky. Literally, that's what it sounds like. It's got a clack every time it pulses fuel through the pipe, and you can adjust the number of times it does that per second, or how many seconds between clacks. They can be quite irritating to some people, and so I've got a little bracket which then suspends that fuel pump on rubber bands. So we'll give that a try and see if that isolates some of the sound. If it does become a problem, there are silent ones that you can purchase, but they're almost the same price as buying a heater. So I'd rather avoid that if possible. Anyway, so we'll get this sorted and get that filler piece done. And I also need to strap the fuel tank in before I put all this together. So we're getting there, a bit more to do. Okay, so we're back on the fuel tank at the moment. So I've done the board. It's not a perfect match, of course, but it's been stained. I might do another coat actually, just to see if I can get a little bit darker. It looks slightly closer in real life than it does on the camera, because we're quite dark in here today and the camera's decided to put a light on. But anyway, that's that. So in here I've got all the bits that we need to put it on, and the first thing I'm going to do is put the connector onto the fuel tank, which, as you can see, has been strapped in, and I've padded it with the insulation so that it's not going to rub against it over time. So I'm going to put the extension onto the fuel pipe there, and then we'll put the closing up panel on there and seal that in place. So that's the next job. I'll be back in a second when it's all done. Okay, so the boards are now in, and I've brought the pipe out here. The hole it comes through is going to be sealed, because this is all going to be sealed around the edges anyway, because it needs to be air sealed so that we don't get any leaks. It's glued as well as just a couple of screws to hold it at the moment, but as I say, I'll seal the edges. Now the pipe comes through and it's got a clip on the other side. This is the black rubber pipe they give you. So what I've done is I've pushed the nylon fuel line, which is this stuff, all the way through until it touches the metal outlet on the tank, and then I've put the clip on this one part way down, and then this is the reinforced water pipe, and the black rubber fits perfectly in the end. So that's now completely sealed. This will actually go down into the hole underneath, and I'll put a clip in the side here to hold it in place. But that will then mean that the fuel is completely isolated from the inside of the van. So it's probably overkill. Makes me feel comfortable, and I'll sleep well at night knowing that we haven't got kerosene fumes coming into the van. As I said earlier on, although this is called a Chinese diesel heater, it's actually going to be run on kerosene, much cheaper. We can get the odor-free stuff here as well, which is kind of nice, but a little bit more expensive. But anyway, it's about €1 a litre at the moment, so that's a good way to go. So yeah, that's ready now for work underneath to start to actually install the heater. My bracket did arrive. I can find it. So that's the plate that they give you, and then this is the plate that's going to go underneath the van. So the heater sits on top, and then I'm going to rivet up this into the chassis, and that will give it plenty of support then. And yeah, laser welded as well. Look at that. Okay, TMU special, by the way, cost me €11, about I don't know, 10 quid or something. So there we go, another job to add to the list. Next I'm going to move on to electric distribution box. So I made a bit of a mistake on this one. So they call this one a garage consumer unit, and I thought nice and small, that'll fit perfectly for what I need. However, it's only got single pole breakers on it, and the requirements for motorhomes and vans is that we have double pole breakers. That means that if a fault is detected, it isolates both the neutral and the live, as opposed to just the live. So I'm going to just take these out, throw these away, and I've ordered I've got to think of the name for it now, a manual transfer switch. So what that will do is it's got a 3-position switch here. So one side connects to the electric hookup if you're connected to a campground. The other side connects through to the inverter. It can't connect both at the same time, so we're in no problems there with having the inverter running and then plugging into a campground and blowing something up. Not sure which will go first, but it won't like it. So what the transfer switch allows me to do is to isolate everything, or to switch it over to electric hookup so that the campground 230 volts will power all the sockets, or to switch it back down to the inverter, and so the inverter will drive all of the 230 volt sockets. So it's a foolproof way of doing it, but the box is good, but the bits inside it aren't, apart from the RCD, which is the kind of the important bit, I suppose. But anyway, going to throw these away, put the new switch in there, and we should be good. So I'm going to locate it down here. Now, coming through from the back there, you can't really see very much, is going to be the 230 volt input, because we're going to put a wall box on there for that. And as the door opens from this side here, I'm going to put this up here so it's easily accessible. So I'll just pull the door open, and then I can flick it onto electric hookup or down onto inverter. So yeah, so that's the next job. Get this swapped over, get these changed out, and we can then start doing some wiring. Just want the weather to improve slightly so I can get underneath, because I do need to run another wire from the inverter over into this this cabinet. But yeah, as soon as the weather dries up a bit, we'll be under there. Okay, I'll catch you on the next one.